Hello everybody, my name is Devin Smeargle, and I am here bringing you my PDL Division 2 Season 3 draft analysis. So, yeah, this is the Pokemon Deity League, Division 2, and we're entering Season 3, I believe, of that, and the regular divisions in Season 8. So yeah, that's cool. This season they're doing a Pokemon Legends Arceus sort of season, so they're having the Hisuian Mons all added in. The thing with them is that they get their in-game move pools, and if they evolve from a previous Pokemon, like Cleaver, for example, it gets access to the other moves that Scyther gets. Like, I don't believe U-Turn's in the game, so it would get that, and then other moves as well. Like, I can't really think of many off the top of my head that aren't in the game, but U-Turn is probably the biggest one. Good boy. So yeah, I don't know if it gets Aerial Ace in game. It probably does. Aerial Ace is in the game, so I would assume so. Anyway, yeah, I had the, I believe, 8th pick out of 16 coaches. It was my first 16 draft in a while, and it was a standard GBA tiering style, but you spent points for certain megas. Certain megas cost 60 points and others cost 20, and then you could gain 20 points and gain 60 points for certain teams. Also, this is an APA style draft, meaning you redraft after 3 weeks and you get 3 different drafts, so the regular season is 9 weeks. So this is my first draft of 3 that I'm going to get throughout the season, and then if I make playoffs, we'll see. I get to pick one of the 3 teams to use for playoffs, so I actually really like my team, and this is the first time in a while I can say that. I have been a little more iffy on my drafts lately, and yeah, I actually really like this team. So, yeah, I picked 8th out of 16 coaches. Some cool stuff was allowed too. There were mons that from PLA that I was looking at to get with my first pick, and also Tier 2 Galarian Zapdos was pretty interesting to me. The draft before me went Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, Enamorous Therian went 3rd, then Dragapult, Rillaboom, I believe it was Mega Diancie or Garchomp. I think it was Garchomp, and then Weavile went, and then it got to me. Weavile was Tier 2, so it went round 1. So I saw something really interesting that I wanted to use, and that was Protean Greninja. Protean Greninja, very fast, strong threat that gets stab on all of its coverage moves, hidden power, and other legacy moves such as Pursuit and Return Frustration are banned. So, no HP Fire, no, nothing like that. No stab return from this thing, I guess, if that ever was something I wanted to bring. But this thing has a lot of, obviously threatening things. It also has Greninja's utility with the speed tier, 122 speed. Fast Taunt and fast T-Spike spikes, amazing. Coverage in terms of Ice Beam, Gunk Shot, like Rock Slide, things like that. Extra Sensory, all those moves, amazing. Yeah, Water Dark is an amazing stab combination. And so, yeah, I wanted to get Greninja, Protean Greninja. I don't know if I'll ever really have the opportunity to draft it again, so I picked it up. Very, very, very cool Pokemon, so that's nice. Round 2, I ended up picking what I felt like was a very strong offensive partner, and I wanted to get this Mega early, because I figured it would probably get taken if I didn't get it now, and I was correct. The wheel pick first overall, the Oklahoma City Thunderous, I think. Oklahoma City Thunderous Kicks. We're going to get it if I left this on the table, so I decided to spend 60 points to get a Mega. The Megas you can spend 60 points on are Mega Alakazam with no plot, Charizard X, Diancie, Gallade, Garchomp without Skill Shot, which is pretty interesting, Latios and Latias Mega, both of which were taken by that point. Otherwise, I would have probably grabbed Latios with Protean Greninja, and that would have been insane. Lopunny, Mega Mawile, Mega Medicham, Sableye, Sceptile, not Sceptile, Scizor, Titar, and Venusaur. I had actually a few picks here that I wanted to make. It was between Lopunny, Mawile, and Scizor for me, and I ended up grabbing Scizor. With Hidden Power Fire Band, like, this thing can probably set up on more Mons in this format. A lot of things don't get good fire coverage. I also wanted something that beat down fairies really well, and I feel like Scizor does that really well, and Greninja beats away fire types. It keeps those potentially on the bench that Scizor doesn't want to deal with, so that's really nice. I really like Scisor's utility as well. I like the momentum core it forms with Greninja, and a few other picks I make later on in the draft, so that's pretty nice. I think this thing's a really strong pickup, and the double priority from these two is also amazing. So, here you go. Up next, I decided to get a pretty top-heavy team with this next pick, but I really wanted to use a Legends Arceus Mon, and this was Tier 1, and I decided, you know what, this looks pretty strong. I don't want to get a Defensive Fairy this draft, because, I mean, it's kind of boring. I did kind of want Clefable if it was still there, but I think it was gone by this point. So I ended up getting a Namorous Incarnate. You can't see it on the screen, but it's there, trust me. The moves it gets fairy coverage, psychic coverage, like it gets decent special coverage, its physical move pool is not bad. The only issue I have is that it really doesn't benefit from contrary at all, but the speed tier is nice, it's a good breaker, hits really hard on both sides, and it has decent coverage on both ends, so, you know, it can be a pretty good setup threat. I am willing to use this thing, and I probably could have picked up a better other tier 1 if I was going to get it. If I was going to get another tier 1, which I really did want to do, I could have probably gotten a different fairy. But I decided in the end to grab this, because I wanted to use a Legends Arceus Mon. The other thing I was looking at, I think was from tier 1, it potentially was, I think Zygarde was gone. Probably Victini, but I think that was also gone by that point, so there are probably other Mons. Probably Torn T also was on my radar, because that was there till late, but no, Zygarde and Torn T got taken later, so I was looking at Zygarde, I was looking at Torn T. In the end, I decided to get something more interesting because I've used those two Mons a lot of times. Up next, round 4, I grabbed the Tier 3 Snorlax. I feel like without Return and Frustration, this Mon is still really good, and probably a Tier 2, but I can see why it would be a Tier 3 in the standard GBA formats. 100 points for this thing. I just picked it up because it's a nice compliment for Scizor because it can switch in on fire moves. And it's a pretty nice compliment for Enamorous, the ugly thing, because it switches in on ice moves and it tanks. It just tanks special hits really well. It's a nice defensive partner with Scizor. So, yeah, I feel like it's a nice value pick. One of the better tier 3s there. It's a good setup threat. It's a nice, sponge for moves. It can hit pretty hard if I run a Choice Band or a Curse Set. So. My cat is staring at me, and it is freaking me out. It is 4 in the morning almost. So yeah, this thing, pretty strong. Nice threat. So, that's good. And it's good to get a nice Ghost Sponge as well. Dragapult is a really annoying thing to deal with. Next, I grabbed Tier 5 Colossal. Now, I got this pretty early because I needed some really good value. I'm going to get 2 Tier 5s and 2 Tier 4s, because that's what my points allow me to get. So I will... One moment. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, for you, that was like 2 seconds. For me, that felt like an eternity. Gotta let your cat out sometimes. So, yeah, I grabbed this because it's a nice budget Pokemon. First of all, a nice solid Fairy Resist. I feel like getting those is pretty important. Getting those are pretty important, especially when you have a Protean Gren on your team. It does inhibit my ground weakness, and I really didn't patch that up later, but that's fine. It gets good support moves, spin, spikes, rocks. That's pretty good. It's a nice offensive threat potentially if I can get up Trick Room or set up a weakness policy sweeping super sexy set. It spreads status, and it's kind of a nuisance for some teams to deal with. Don't mind like stuff like Power Gem being on it. It doesn't learn that. This is just on the Radical Red server because that's where we play our games, or it's where we're supposed to play our games anyway. So. Yeah, I got this because it's a nice value Mon for a Tier 5, 40 points, but I didn't end up using it, I don't think. Using the points on this. You get the 400 extra points, and then I spent 60 of those on Mega Scizor, so... And then I spent 180 on Enamorous Incarnate, so I had... That's 360... No, that's not 360. No, that is 360, and then 180. So, yeah, two 4s and a 5. Yeah. Or no, yeah, something like that. So yeah, the math is there somewhere. I don't know how to do math. I'm stupid. So yeah, up next I grabbed Palisand with my Tier 4 pick. I really wanted this because it blocks Spin if I can get up Hazard Stack. T-Spikes from Greninja, Spikes from Colossal, some good rocks set up and shit. So, yeah, it's another solid rocker. I wanted a really good ground type from Tier 4, and I grabbed this. It's a really good ground type from Tier 4. It's got good momentum blocking. It's a solid physical wall, and yeah, it's a defensive nuisance. Gets stuff like Wisp, so that's good. I believe it gets stuff like Wisp, but I actually don't. I'm pretty sure it learns Wisp normally. We can check that together. Team Builder. Where is this Pokemon? Right here. For my week one team, it doesn't learn Will-O-Wisp. God, I hate using the server. Holy shit. Because I brought Hex on it for the game, and then I tried to have my battle, and then it said this thing does not learn Hex. So I had to change that at the last minute. So yeah. Still spreads toxic and gets up rocks and is an overall nuisance for the opponent. And it has solid coverage. Stuff like Sludge Bomb Psychic, so that's nice. Next, I grab my other Tier 3 with Mienshao. It fills a nice speed tier, even though that speed tier is fulfilled by Enamorus. Enamorus doesn't learn U-turn, so that's pretty nice. It's a nice physical breaker. Like I said, the speed tier is appreciated. Being able to beat back steals is nice. That's like one of the main reasons I love grabbing good fighting types, and Mienshao is definitely a good fighting type. Nice variance in sets. Regenerator is nice. You can have an inner focus on setup sets, and Reckless High Jump Kick can be really annoying for people to switch into. Regenerator is one of the best abilities in the game, probably top 2. That and Magic Guard, as well as Adaptability, are all insane abilities, so... Yeah, up next, I wanted something else that could kill fairies, and this was Tier 4, and I didn't really want any other rockers. Before I got this Pokemon, before I got Mienshao, I actually really wanted Tentacruel, but that ended up getting taken by one of the weirdest Trick Room teams I've ever seen. So I grabbed Duraludon after I got Mienshao. If I got Tentacruel, that would have been really nice, because I could have gotten different grass types. Probably wouldn't have grabbed this. Probably would have grabbed a different dragon as well. I also wanted, I guess I kind of wanted a dragon, just to help deal with waters. That's a nice water resist. Gets up rocks. It's a nice special breaker. The speed tier is good. I also wanted something around the 80 to 90 speed tier, so that was another checkbox I wanted to fill because, you know, why not? And this was a Tier 4. I felt like the budget there was really good. So, yeah, another potential fairy killer. Nice special wall breaker. Excuse me, decent coverage. Is a pretty potent threat if it wants to be. So that's cool. This mon is pretty nice. Up next, I grabbed my other Tier 5, and that would be Raichu. Regular Raichu. I wanted an electric, because breaking down bulky waters was starting to look like a potential problem. Unfortunately, I couldn't really grab it. I could have grabbed like a Tier 2. Let me look at the Tier 2s. I could have grabbed like a Tier 2 okay electric type. Xurkitree was not on my radar, but that is one that's there. Toxtricity was potentially something I was looking at. I really was considering getting Thundurus Incarnate with this pick, but in the end I went with Raichu because I wanted to get a bulky water from Tier 2, a certain bulky water that also fulfills another niche and complements another mon I'm going to pick after Raichu, so I ended up grabbing Raichu. If I didn't grab Raichu, odds are I probably would have gotten Tangela with my Tier 5 pick. No, it was Tier 4. Probably some other grass type. No, you know, maybe a bulky water from down here, like Clawitzer, if it's here. Let me double check, see if it's here. It's not. Yeah, some other water type, maybe. I don't know actually what I would have gotten with my Tier 5 pick. But I did end up grabbing a bulky water from Tier 2. And my Tier 4, my other Tier 4 is a Vileplume. I still haven't made my pick from Tier 2. But Vileplume complements that final pick really well. It can potentially do a lot of different things. Its special attack is pretty high, but it's also a pretty annoying wall from either side. Its defense stat is ridiculous when paired with Strength Sap. It's a nice cleric, and yeah, Toxic Spike Absorber and another Fairy Resist. So those are all good things. I also wanted a Grass type, even though it's not a ground resist. Vileplume's sturdy enough for that to not really matter, unlike something like Roserade, which I admit is a fault with Roserade. Even though I really like using Roserade. What really would I have gotten? Probably if I grabbed Thundurus from Tier 2 with my last pick. Well, I probably would have wanted a sturdy water. Probably something like Lantern. Unfortunately, with that, I was looking at getting Lantern with my pick, with my draft. But it was not Tier 5, and there weren't really any Tier 5s that I was looking at, like grass types. Maybe I would have gotten Quillfish and another grass. A different grass, maybe. I'm actually gonna look. I'm gonna mull this over for a minute. A different grass type. Actually, maybe a bulky psychic. And then, like, I could have gotten Musharno down here and then not gotten Duraludon or something. I don't know. But my last pick of the draft is Slowbro. This thing is a toxic mess. Fuck you, Slowbro. But it's a really nice Pokemon. Slow momentum into stuff like Greninja, so I can get free switch-ins into Greninja, free switch-ins into Enamorus. That'd be nice. Free switch-ins into Mienshao. Switches into Raichu, maybe. The defensive prowess this thing offers is really good. It's a good fighting resist. It tanks, it just tanks water hits. It's a nice bulky water. From Tier 2, can slow things down with T-Wave. It can soak up status. It can soak up paralysis for my team. Teleport out, be a nuisance. It can set up Trick Room if I really wanted to do that. Yeah, this thing does a lot of stuff for the team, has good coverage, and is a really nice physical wall. And yeah, Gen 8 really fucked with this thing. So there's my team. I definitely wanted a bulky water because Greninja, as my water type, was not really an appealing prospect. So I grabbed Slowbro for that reason as well. I might be pretty electric weak thinking about it with my team, but that's okay. That's okay. So I grabbed, in order, Greninja, with Protean access, of course. Fucking Mega Scizor, Enamorus, Incarnate, Snorlax, Colossal, Palisand, Mienshao, Duraludon, Raichu, Vileplume, and Slowbro. So I do like my team quite a bit, and I think I can do some good damage with this. I like all the mons on it, even though some of them are boring. Slowbro. So yeah, thank you for watching. I will be back with week 1 of this league that I decided to record. So see you all then. Later, Dink.